Okay, so let's talk about rehearsal letters. This is very helpful, and you will be using rehearsal letters for the um, assignment 2, part 2. Um, so anyway, let's say that I decided that this is a very short score. It's not a very good example, but let's say that I want this to be letter A over here, or number 1. So Finale has the great feature, which is under the expression tool, rehearsal marks. The fundamental difference between the rehearsal marks category and the others is that rehearsal marks will automatically renumber. In other words, if I have 25 rehearsal marks and then I realize I want another one between number 22 and 23, I don't have to renumber all the other ones, which is kind of a nightmare. And it would be very easy to make mistakes. So there's two basic ways to do this, either with letters or with numbers, and you can choose whichever. If you look at this, if you look closely up here in the right hand corner, top right hand corner, there's a letter M. If you remember, that stands for shortcut. So if I, for example, just cancel out here and I click while I'm in the expression tool, I click on a measure while pressing M, a rehearsal letter will appear, and it'll typically go over here in a space where they are, and they don't usually collide with anything, but you can move them around if for some reason they're colliding with something else. So if I go and do another one over here, press the letter M, click letter B, and I say, oh, you know what, I really wanted this to be letter B and this to be letter C, you just click on B and then they start over. Now you might want to create your own custom rehearsal marks for whatever reason. And the way you can do that, let's say something I use quite a bit is to use triggers for the electronics. So what I do is I just take, let's say this, and I duplicate it, and I edit it, and I leave the numbering alone. And right before it, I put a T. So this means that you'll always get T followed by a number, which will continually increase. So that would be, let's say that I create a new shortcut for this and I call it T. Let me see if I don't remember if I showed you how to do this. So let me do it. Let me show you. If I go out and I'm in my expression tool, if I want to assign a shortcut, let's say T for triggers, then I do Shift T. And then what it'll do is I'll pull this up and it'll say, okay, this is what is currently T in this expression, in this tool, which means if I press the letter T in the score, this marking a tempo will come up. But I can override it and I can go to my rehearsal marks and I can say, no, this is what I want, is letter T. And I say assign. And now if I go here and press T, I'll get trigger number 1. Now, let me go back to the edit. Now it automatically created an ellipse around it. Now you can choose whatever you want. You can choose not to have anything around the letter. You can choose to have a square, a circle, a triangle, a rectangle. Let's say we do a pentagon. And then, so that's what it will look like. Okay, you can even get more specific and you can decide how much space you want in between the borders and the text. You can choose how thick the line is. Let's say 2 or 5, and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. So it's quite, way too thick. It's so thick now you can't even see it, the text. There we go. Okay, so that's basically the deal with rehearsal marks.